Hi everybody, it's Diana with stampingwithdi.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And I have such a pretty card to share with you today, and it's using the new Gorgeously Made. And this set is just, it's a perfectly named for it because it is gorgeous and it has so many fun pieces, and it actually goes with this really beautiful DSP, so I can't wait to share that with you. And the DSP is one of those that is on sale for the month of June, so you want to make sure you grab yourself a couple packs of it because it is just, it's amazing, and you're gonna see me use it quite a bit because it is so versatile. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're all here joining me today. My name is Diana, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So if you've been to Arizona, Santan Valley is just a little kind of rural. It's not as rural as it used to be, as everyone seems to be moving here. But we're outside of like Chandler, Gilbert, you know, kind of area, and we love it out here. So if you're ever in my neck of the woods, give me a holler. All right, so I'm gonna stop blabbing. I'm gonna turn the camera, so close your eyes just for a second. Get adjusted. All right, let's see here. So speaking of Arizona, it is very warm, and so you will hear the air conditioner in the background, so I do apologize for that. I have tried to turn it off, and I get about halfway through the video and I have to turn it back on, so now I just have to go. I'll leave it on. You might not even hear it. I guess I just know the sound of it, and I know to hear listen for it. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do today. So this is the stamp set that I'm talking about, so the Gorgeously Made, and it is part of the Masterfully Made Suite collection. And what's nice about the Suite collections is if you like everything, you can usually put the code in, and then you can get it all, and it just makes it easier for shopping. Sometimes if you put the code in and it comes up that it's not available, it could just mean that maybe there's an element in that suite that isn't available. So, you know, maybe try just putting the bundle code in, and then maybe that will come up, and then it might be the DSP or the embellishment. Just kind of try to figure it out, or just holler at me. But that is what will happen if the item code is not available. So this is the card that I'm going to be doing today. This one right here. And it is so beautiful. So I have my recipe here, and you can get these on my blog. I'm just gonna turn up the brightness just a little bit on my video. All right, there we go. So you can get the recipes on my blog, and they are, if you go to the header, it will say current catalogs, and if you click on the current catalogs, then this other little page comes up. You'll be able to look at the catalogs online, but you'll be able to also grab the recipes. So that's where I get these, so that I can figure out how something was made. And I usually just go over, I take my little recipe, and I grab the DSP and all that kind of stuff. Now sometimes I will go, where is this used? And this is this case. The white center, some new DSP that we have right now, new specialty paper. And I, for the life of me, could not figure out where it was used on that card, so I did not use it at all. All right. So let's see here, some scrap paper. So here is the Gorgeously Made stamp set, and it is a cling. All right, and it has this die. So this Gorgeously Made. So even if you're like, well, you don't see yourself using the stamp set, definitely grab the die, because this can be used by itself with not a problem. Like, you don't have to, you know, have the stamp set if you don't want it. And I'm gonna see myself using this a lot, and you'll see why today. So that's what we're gonna use. Alrighty, so let's get to the first card, and so this will be the just having a little bit of issues with my autofocus, so it's driving me a little bonkers, but so hopefully it's fixed now. Okay, so I have my recipe, and these are the pieces that I'm going to be using. So this is the new Berry Burst DSP. And ahead of time, I did run the die to get my cardstock. So let me just pop some of these little pieces out that are still stuck in there. Let's see. So like I said, this is such a pretty, sweet and collection, but the die could almost be a standalone just because of the elements that are in it. Alright. Poke, poke, poke. We also have some new additions to our poke tool. So I got those the other day. Alright, so this is just the regular one. This is like squirrel. Alright, and we have a new what is this, rotary? So this is a rotary one. So you just unscrew this and screw that on, and then you have a rotary cutter. So I have another one of these coming to me so that I can have them always loaded because I kind of like to have them already done. All right, then there is what would you call this? Not a Sharpie. X-Acto knife is what I would call that. So then there's an X-Acto knife, and then there's this other hook thing which is very cool, which might be I'm not for sure if it's like maybe for quilling. Is that what it's called when you turn paper? I really don't know, but it's really, really cool. It's like a hook, and then the other side of that is like an extra sharp, because this is the regular one, so it's kind of thick, and so here's the new one. So you can just see the difference in thickness. So make sure that you check that out. Those are in the main catalog. And then when you put the little covers on, if you do, just make sure you slide that cover in the right way. It's kind of skinny on one side, so you don't want to push it in this way and bend that hook. If you find yourself using them a lot, you know, you might not even put the covers on. Like half the time I don't, but I just wanted to put the cover on since I had them for those. So anyway, so there's that, and then this just slides, and then it exposes that perforated wheel, and then you can tighten it if you need to, and then when you're not using it, just slide it up, and then that will cover that wheel so that that blade is not exposed. So this is just a great accessory for that pick tool. So anyway, so I wanted to bring that to your attention in case you didn't see that. Alright, so let's get all of our pieces over here. So this is that really cool DSP, and this is that die. So look what it did when I put the die on. It gives me a little stitch, and then it gives you this note card like you have ripped it out of a notebook, and I love that look to it. And the DSP looks beautiful. It's like handmade and then photographed, but it has so much texture. And then here's the back side. So we're actually using some basic white, and then another element on the card is just the back side of this. But doesn't it look like, excuse me, I have tore and taped and all that stuff, and it looks like I did it, but it's just a photograph because somebody else did it in the home office, or where, you know, where things are designed and everything. Okay, so let's bring this card over, and we're going to be using a few colors. So we have Berry Burst, Pretty Peacock, and Fresh Freesia. So those are the colors that we're going to be using today. And so this stamp set has this really fun kind of shabby chic, it looks like typewriter that's kind of aged and wore. So we're going to use that. So I'm going to close my card. because we're going to stamp that just kind of randomly all over the back of my card base. And this is just a regular A4 card, so when it's folded, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just going to stamp with Berry Burst on Berry Burst, just to put this pattern just on my card base, just like that, easy peasy. Then, while I have my Berry Burst open, let me get some Stampin' Mist over here so I can clean, because when I'm doing the greeting, I'm going to be using the little hello from this set, and we're using it in all those different colors, so it's important that I'm washing that in between. So let's bring my little hello over. This is, like I said, a cling set. So let's bring my tiny little piece of white over here. And let's do our fresh freesia first. Now this is just kind of randomly stamped on this little tag. So we're going to go fresh freesia. And I'm going to go solid, and then I'm just going to kind of stamp it around so you get like second and third generations of hello around there. And then we'll do solid again. But whenever you do half off, you don't want to just go again because it will look different. So then we want to stamp off of here. So whenever you do half, and let me show you what I mean. So if I do hello, make sure you do the O on there, because the word could be a swear word if not. All right, so we're going to go hello. Oh, but I got a full one. Hold on a second. All right. So let's get some scrap paper here, just so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we have hello. And I'm going to stamp it fully on, which means I can go like this, and it gives me that second and third generation without any issue. But if I stamp like this, where part of it goes off, if I go second generation, it's kind of hard to tell because fresh fuse is a little light, but you can see that it's not correct, right? Because this is lighter and then it goes darker because this part stamped on my scrap. So if you want to do that look, right, where it goes boom boom boom, just make sure you stamp it on scrap fully, and then you can do your second and third generation. All right, so hopefully I didn't confuse you. I try to teach a little something every time, and then sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to teach. I just kind of like, oh, I should share why I do some things. All right, so this again was fresh freesia, just kind of scattered here and there. Now we're going to do berry burst. So the same thing, I'm going to go solid with berry burst, and then I'm just going to just kind of, you know, go every which way with the hello. Let's put another one down here. All right, and then we're going to clean. Now we're going to finish this off with Pretty Peacock. Now Pretty Peacock and Berry Burst are returning colors, and exciting to see them back. All right, so here we have our hello. And I'm trying to put my greetings kind of close because I need to trim my tag, and I want to make sure I have all my colors, you know, on there. All right, so we're going to go Pretty Peacocks. We're going to go the same thing. So hello, and then just kind of, just, you know, it just has this different random hellos all around there. So I thought that was cool. That was one of the things that stood out to me when I looked at that card. And even though it's super fun, it's almost it's not hard to do, but it took me a couple times to get just the look I liked. They're behind me on my desk. All right, so since I waste so many of them during videos, I have learned to just cut the full pad in half so that it goes further. Okay, let's see here. Now let's bring our card over. So we have these really pretty leaves, and it even cuts these little marks in them, so they give them some texture. So what we're going to do is I want to just put some of my adhesive here and here, and this is just going to hold these on, because when I put this piece on here, this is going to hide that adhesive. All right, so we're just going to stick this on here, so it's kind of like tone on tone, right? Because this is berry burst on berry burst. And then let's see, this one down here, like there. So you won't see this adhesive. And now those pieces are just tacked down. I'm also going to use some linen thread, and I have just put it on a little bobber here. It doesn't come like that. So I'm going to wrap this around a couple times and just tie it with a bow. Alright, so there's where I know I want my ribbon. Now I'm not going to tie it till I get it on the card, because if I tie it, it will bend. This is just DSP, so it will kind of force that to tweak a little bit, so I don't want it to do that. But I do want my ribbon on here all ready to go, so I need my dimensionals. Excuse my arm. So I'm gonna put my dimensionals on here, and then we'll tie once this is stuck to the card. Okay, then I've got my Big Mama dimensionals. I think I still have, I need to look, I think I still have a couple adhesive pouches. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in an adhesive pouch. It gives you a whole bunch of different adhesives. Alright, so let's see here. So we're just going to stick this right on here. And this will hold that those flowers in place as well. Plus it hides that that seal that I put on there. Okay, so now we can tie this, because now this is nice and solid and secure, so it's not going to bend my designer series paper when I'm tying that. All right, so I want a kind of a big bow. It's kind of loose and flouncy and just very organic. All right, so now let's bring our tags over. So we have these cute little tags, and we're just going to do little fish tails. So all you have to do is you're going to snip up the center, and then you're going to cut from this side to that center and this side to that center, and it gives you that little fish tail. I have to go just a little bit further. So it gives you that. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Now this one, I want it to be a little bit shorter. So this is why I kind of made the greetings kind of go every which way. All right. So same thing. Snip up. And then go to that little center snip. And that little center snip there, which gives you your other fish tail. And then we're going to see how good it is. So I see that this is a little bit too long. I need it to be trimmed. So I'm going to trim the flat side. Get my paper cutter, and I'm just going to take a little bit off the top there, so I can see if I like that. So I like that better. So this is a little bit shorter. Now these are the same width, but I don't want them to be the same length. All right. If you don't have the paper cutter, make sure you get that. All right. I've got dimensional backings everywhere. All right, so let's see here. So now what I want to do is I want to just put these together. So I'm just going to take a little seal, and I'm just going to stick those on like this. So they're just kind of cattywampus on there. And all I'm going to do, they're just going to get stuck up underneath here. So it looks like, you know, that they're tied to that ribbon, but they're really not. And I'm going to put a couple dimensionals so it sticks out just a little bit. And then all I'm going to do is slide that up underneath like that. And there is the card. So I think it looks pretty close. What page was that on? What page? What page was that on? Oh my gosh, page 102. I took my recipe out. Let's see how good I did. And they never can be identical, but it looks pretty darn close. What do you think? Pretty darn close. All right, so that is the first card. Now, for my Mimeograph Monday with a twist, that means you're going to get 2 cards. So this was the first one. So this was the catalog version. So now we're going to have fun, and I'm going to do my twist. So my twist card, I wanted to use a different greeting. Well, a different greeting set. I'm still using the word hello for the front of the card, but this is a photopolymer, so I could see through it, so it made me be able to stamp my greeting perfectly where I wanted it, where the cling, you know, since it was just random stamping, it didn't matter so much. But this time I'm wanting it to be exact, so I like the photopolymer, and I loved the hello. It's just a little bit bigger than the other one. All right. Now this is the DSP that we're using, and this is the Masterfully Made. So as soon as I cut the paper in half, I just stick the scraps in here, and then I know to grab from the scrap pile before I cut up a full sheet. But this is that beautiful DSP, and like I said, it is one of the ones that's on sale this month for the DSP sale, and I grabbed a bunch extra because I know I'm gonna have so much fun with that this year. But this is that DSP. All right, so I changed the DSP kind. I also changed the cardstock, so I went with fresh freesia. So fresh freesia is going to be our card base. I also put a little piece on the inside, and these are the same size, so these are just 4 by 5 1/4. And this is actually, so this is what I did with the die instead. So the die, I did the same little stitched and the ripped off, you know, notepad, but it also has this really jaggedy edge, so it makes it, it's kind of a cool tag where you've also ripped the bottom of your note. So like I said, this die is gorgeous. And then this time I just used some of the DSP, and I just cut that same flower out. This is the back side of that DSP, and I wanted to put that on there. So this is the bottom as it goes down. This DSP gets more and more flowers as it goes down. So I just cut a piece from the bottom, and that's going to be for my inside. And then my tag is actually one of the other elements from that die. So this is why I wanted to use a photopolymer, because I already die cut out my shape, and that way I can stamp it exactly where I need it to be. Alright, so this is just going to go on the bottom, just a little 1-inch strip, just so that the inside is as pretty as the outside. And I don't always do that, like on my catalog version, I just left it plain. All right, so here we have that. Now I also am going to be using one of the other returning colors, which is Blueberry Bushel. Now this was not listed as a coordinating color with this DSP, but I think it turns out good. So I'm using this only because this DSP, so here is the you know, almost a full sheet. It is trimmed a little bit. That's where I got those 1-inch pieces, but you can see how it gets more and more flowers. It has like Night of Navy and Peacock and a whole bunch of other colors. But as this gets lower, it kind of gradually gets lighter and lighter. This blueberry just fits in there perfect. So I was like, I'm using blueberry. Night of Navy is really, really dark, and I wanted to have more of a blue look. So definitely, you know, the catalog is great, and the back of the DSP packs, I always turn them out. I need to cut some more. I always like tell you what goes with it, but just, you know, pull out the other colors and don't be afraid to mix and match, because even in here you've got some greens. You can see that peacock, that berry burst freesia, but in here, you know, granny apple would work, I think, even like a seafoam. So just have fun with it. Okay, so the inside of the card, I'm going to stamp I just want to hug you, and this comes from that Happy Labels. So that just goes there, and it's so fun because it just looks like it's handwritten, so it's not, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. So that's going to go on the inside. I want to take my little banner, and I'm going to use hello. So this comes from that Happy Labels too. So I just want the card to say hello, just like the other one. It's a little bit bigger, and since it's photopolymer, I'm going to be able to put it right where I want it to be. And I have it off to the side just a little bit, because I'm going to put a little butterfly there. All right. So let's bring our card over. So this goes on the inside. So this was fun because the first card was so beautiful that sometimes it's hard for me to come up with a twist, because the first card is just so gorgeous. So this one was a little hard, I think, just because I wasn't sure how to. And like I always say, I never try to make my twist be better. It's just like more my taste. And that first card was already kind of my taste. So I'm like, okay, so I'm just doing, you know, just change the colors around, and it turned out just as gorgeous. All right, so I just put some more basic white. So that's going to go in the front. Then we have our beautiful piece here, this note card that looks torn. If you can look in here, you can even see that stamp. So this right here, that has all that kind of whatchamacallit, the writing, and it's all in here. It's just such a pretty collage like DSP. All right, so before I put my ribbon on, I want to, this time I'm going to use some of the basic baker's twine, and I have put that on a bobbin too. All right, so we're just going to, now if you want, you can really shabby this up, you know, kind of get them bent so they really look like you have ripped them out of a note card. And I'm just going to wrap this. Oop, hang on a second, I got hold of my flower there. All right, so I'm going to wrap this around 2 times and cut. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. So I have my baker's twine where I want it. But again, I don't want to tie this plain, because see how flexible it is? It would just bend that, and I don't want it to be bent. So I'm just going to flip it over. Look how pretty it is even on the back side. All right, so let's get our dimensionals. So I'm doing it the same way. So I'm going to tie this once it's on the card, which will make it be more stable and not bend. Now this time, I'm going to put this on at an angle, so it's not going to be on there straight. So it almost looks like, you know, you've ripped this out of your note card or your notepad, and it's just kind of laying there, right? It's not this perfectly centered piece. All right, now we can tie. All right, so before I tie, I also want to kind of stick this in here a little bit so it just kind of gets snagged by that ribbon a little bit, because I don't have as much going on. Get in there. I don't have as much going on in the background for my adhesive. All right, so let's bring this over and tie. And I want this to be really organic too. So I'm just gonna kind of leave my tails long, and then I can trim them later. But I love that. It's just got this long thread going on here. Alright. So this, I just want this to be kind of caught in the ribbon. Okay. So then we have our hello. We're going to bring our hello over, and I'm going to put 3 dimensionals on there. So I'm putting more than it really needs because I want the dimensionals to also hold my flower on. So I want it to kind of hold the flower as well as be attached to the card. Alright, so we have our hello. Now whenever you put something on crooked, it's always a little harder to get the next piece on straight because your eye is kind of like crooked as well. So I'm just trying to, like, I'll visualize the bottom and I work my way up, and that looks pretty straight. So see, now this is holding this, so this is really not going to go anywhere. If this bothers you, because it can catch in the envelope, like as you're putting your card away, so just put a little bit of the green tip glue on the back of some of these little flowers, and then just hold it for a second. I can get my handy little block, and I'll go and tack these down once the video is over a little bit more, but that way they won't catch in the envelope when you're putting it in the card. But I don't want to like tack them all the way down. Like you could use the adhesive sheets, but then the whole thing would be tacked down, and I want it to you know, I want it to be a little free, right? I don't want it to be all the way tacked. All right, so let's see here. So now we have our hello on there, and I want to put a little butterfly. So these are the brushed brass butterflies. If you don't have these, make sure you grab yourself a pack or 2 or 3, and try them out, because you get a couple different sizes. You can see I use them a lot because it's all cut up from classes and stuff. All right, so I'm going to use a big one on the hello. See, this is why I usually don't put the lid on there. All right, so hello. And then I'm going to put a couple little ones kind of flittering around the flowers. So I'm just doing 3. Odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye, so that's why I'm just using 3. But the butterflies are so pretty because they lay flat, so they're just not going to add a lot of bulk. And then so we have our thread. So if this is too long, I'll trim it just a little bit. I don't want it to be too crazy. All right. But so there is my twist card. So let me show you the first. So this is the catalog version, which is gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And then my twist. So basically I just changed the colors. I changed the orientation of this because it was this way before. I just flipped it the other way, made it a little bit bigger. I used that other die to make it jaggedy. It still says hello. I did, like I said, I did use happy labels for my twist, just because it has lately been my go-to stamp set, you know, because it's just easy, easy size photopolymer. You know, it fits so many different dies. But so anyway, so what do you think? Let me know. I love either one. This one does not have any bling on it. Like I said, I didn't do anything on the inside, but you know, you could do whatever. All right, so let me say, see you later, alligator. And so let me know what you think. I love this DSP and that die. Oh, I love that jaggedy note card look. And the die is, what did I do with the die? Hold on a second. Let me show you. Here it is. So here's the die. So let me show you a little bit better. All right. So here is the die. So it's nice and long, and then here's that bottom. So that's what gave me the jaggedy. So I like that they made it long like that, because then you can put it so many different places on your card, right? It can go on the top, it can go on the side. You're not limited, you know, to just like a little tiny notepad. You can make, you know, a good size one. And then I love this. Now this is that jaggedy, but you could use this as even like a mountainscape, grass, you name it. It's just a jaggedy look. But and then you have your, you know, your two flowers, and then there's that little piece that I used for my greeting. But it is just beautiful. So hopefully you will snag that, and like I said, you can get the whole collection. Now when the DSP is on sale, what I like to do is just kind of, you know, I like to save money as much as the next person. Make sure you priced it, go in and price it where you just buy the bundle and then you buy the DSP separately, since it's on sale this month, and it might actually be cheaper. So just kind of do that, right? Because sometimes you go, oh, I don't need the embellishments, you know, because it has embellishments, and then it might be just cheaper for you to do the bundle and the DSP like separately. But so anyway, that's just a little, I didn't actually sit there and figure it out. I'm just like, it was kind of like that little squirrel moment when I'm like, because that paper is on sale. So make sure if you have any questions at all, you reach out. Tomorrow will be my Teach Me Tuesdays, episode 177, and I will be showing the goodies and guts for June. So make sure you join me. That will be 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. Have a great night, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.